Before Facebook was, the news feed was all about news, right? They were going all in on news. You know about that, right? Even when you go,
Yeah.
like when I was logged into Creator Studio or whatever, like I have a news site. So they were asking me to connect my website so that way it would serve up. It's called Facebook Instant Articles. So then when someone clicks on one of our links, it opens up in Instant Articles, which is a Facebook browser that will just load instantly. So instead of taking 10 seconds to load, which the average link takes 10 seconds to load, it just loads within like a second. And then they place the Facebook Audience Network ads in your content. So they were going all in with news and media. And then just, last month or maybe a month and a half ago, they've now switched their positioning and now they're all in on creators.
There's some awesome evolutions that are happening there with enabling more creators and enabling more people to have a voice there. I mean, the creative economy has sort of exploded over the last few years, and I think it's just at the beginning of like sort of hopefully remaking a lot of the economy for the country and the world, so that way more people can pursue creative endeavors. I think that's just going to be one of the most positive trends. I think the news in general is often negative. I think the incentives of the news industry are often to well, I think just the mission of the news industry is to kind of speak truth to power and highlight things, like hold people accountable. So I think that even if you're looking at it from that perspective, I think a lot of the stuff is like it generally has this very critical tone to it. I think that what we've tried to do with Facebook is have a little bit of both, right? Facebook has images and videos, but it also has news. And the part of it that's probably the most critical, where we probably have the most controversies around the more newsy type stuff, the more political type stuff.
Right? So they're moving away from news and media and going towards creators. So what I think happened is that people are just sick of all the. I think Facebook doesn't want to have to, monitor the news and decide what's true and false. So they're trying to get away from news. People are just sick of all the negativity of the news and all the kind of what we call fake news and so on, right? And I think that Mark Zuck is probably having some resentment towards all these media companies that he's trying to work with who are talking about him and shit about his platform, right? So he's like, screw that. He's going with the millennials who are these creators. And apparently, I just saw a stat that the average creator is 31 years old. I just learned that today. I thought it was much younger than that. So
Well, I was going to say on that front, I mean, I haven't seen the interview. I don't know the complete story, but hearing some of that, part of that last piece you were saying about his reasons, his intentions, could be. The other thing on that content creator side is it could just be where the money is. Like there was money in news for a while, but it almost feels like that little bubble might have passed. I don't know. I just remember back in 2016, for around that time period, like having clients that were in that space. And it's like I don't get those type of like people coming to me. So it was, again, that's kind of like firsthand, not the best proof of it, but I just felt like it was a big boom in news and news grid and those types of sites. Mm-hmm. It just seems like maybe the heyday is past there, and it's like content creators are super valuable. And if they can kind of be the platform for these new content creators, and they can have I don't know if they have payment gateways and do all these other things, like it's the metaverse, like right. It makes sense that that's the play, and they would actually try to empower creators, so to speak.
The ad spending is now moving towards creators. So more brands are exponentially spending more on with creators in sponsored videos and so on than they were in Facebook ads, which I think is smart. I think it's a smart move. Right. So they'll spend, it's also an arbitrary right now. People don't really know, like, what is the correct amount? What is one creator's value over another? Right. And it really depends on the match between the brand and the creator and how closely aligned that matches. Right. Like if I were to do an ad spot with Mr. Beast or something like that, right? His audience is not really my audience. So it wouldn't even really make sense for me. Right. Therefore, the value of that would not really make sense. Right. But it seems Correct. Like a lot of online gaming and, Carrot Card or Honey, they seem to be doing more sponsorship with those kind of people who have that sort of an audience that they're targeting. So that could be another reason why. So that the reason why Facebook is going after more so creators. And back in like 2012, YouTube bought FameBit. And FameBit was a platform that connected brands with creators, and that is now part of YouTube's suite of tools. I'll just say it's there. It's once you become like a paid creator, you can connect with brands through their platform. So I predict that Facebook is going to buy one of these. And what's even more interesting is I was getting into the startup world, looking at like different tech and kind of what a good tech startup would be. And I was looking at Techstars and 500 startups, and I was just going back at their previous cohorts and just looking at what startups were created. It was probably 50% of them were products that in some way were supporting connecting with creators, brands connecting with creators. There's a lot of technology and startups that are in that space right now. So I think that there's a lot of play for Facebook going to buy one of these platforms. LinkedIn will buy one of these platforms. Twitter will buy one of these platforms, right? So I think that in terms of like building something that gets acquired, maybe Google's going to buy one of these platforms again, right? I mean, YouTube bought one, but Google could too. So I think that connecting brands with creators is going to be like the next form of online advertising, and people got to figure out like how do you. Right now, it's like a wild west. You don't know how much you're supposed to pay. What's the average CPM you should pay? You just don't know, right? You just everything is just kind of made up right now, and there's no one sort of like here's how this should work, right?